Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Python video, and today we're going to be looking at some basics of Python that include variables, user input, if statement, and how do you use all of them together in your code or whatever you're doing, and what's the output that you get, and how can you manipulate these to get whatever output you want. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So today we're going to be using VS Code or Visual Studio Code, and no, this is not sponsored. I just really recommend, if you're coding any language, just download Visual Studio Code because it has some crazy extensions and it just makes coding way easier. So first we're going to start off by variables and basic arithmetic, where we're going to define two variables. So let's take a equals 5 and b equals to 3. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna want to print some statements, so to make it look good and like to make it look professional. So I'm just gonna copy this here and paste it. There we go. So that's gonna be the first statement I want to be printed. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna print another thing where we're gonna put a equals in inverted and then put a comma outside and put a. So what this does is it prints out a equals as the text you want, and then the a over there doesn't need to be put in inverted commas because we already have defined the variable a, and we just want it to be printed out as it is, which will be 5. So then we print another one with b equals. This will be inverted, we put a comma outside, we put b outside. There we go. That'll give us the output as 3. And then we're gonna want to put more statements. I'm just gonna give you some basic arithmetic functions of Python. Print and say a plus b is equal to, and that's gonna be inverted commas. And now outside the inverted commas, what we just have to do is simply put in a plus b. That's it. So now what this will give us is the value of a plus b, and we don't have to put no inverted commas. Okay, now let's do the same with subtraction. So it's gonna be a minus b equals, and it'll give us a minus b. There we go. Then we're gonna do multiplication. Now since we have multiplication, we don't put an x, or if your keyboard has a multiplication sign, we do not put that. We put in this. I forgot the inverted commas. There we go. Equals, and outside we put a comma, and it's just simply a asterisk b. Now let's take division. So there's a note that division in Python 3 will give a float result, but let's show that here. So we print open bracket. Now for division we put in the slash, and outside we put a comma, and we're just gonna put the slash. There we go. Okay, so here's our series of basic arithmetic commands. We're not going in the advanced ones yet. That will be for another video. Let's run this. There we go. So as you can see, the output we got here, we have got everything we wanted. So we have variables and basic arithmetic out. Then we have a equals 5, b equals 3, a plus b equals 8, a minus b equals 2, and that all is correct. And then we got a decimal as a result, and then yep, there we go. So now that we know these basic commands, how are we gonna integrate this in our code? Let's go on by user input. I think I have used this in videos before, but never really went into the basics and whatever. So let's go on with how to take user input. So first you want to give an input statement which will be printed. So over here I'm going to give print and then in inverted I'm gonna use the \n, which is gonna give a gap, \n and no gap user input. That's what I want to be printed here. And then we're gonna put in name equals, so let's define a variable which is name, and now we define it. We take, so now this is the input command. So this input command will take an input of the user, and now if you're taking an input as an integer, it's gonna be different, and I'm gonna demonstrate that in the next part. So here, enter your name will be what we want the user to see. Enter your name. Here we go. And then all we're gonna do is simply print the most basic coding word, hello world. So we're just gonna print in hello, but this time with our name. Hello with a comma. You want the comma to be inside the inverted as well, so it's displayed, and then a comma outside name. So that's the variable. And now if you want to add something other, if you want to add something other to be printed, like for example, let's say you want an exclamation mark, you're gonna have to do this. Okay, so now we're gonna run this. Okay, see, so we have user input. I just forgot to capitalize it, but yeah, user input, enter your name. So I'm gonna enter my name, hello Ruler. There we go. That's what the output is. And now in the next part, we're gonna look at how we're gonna integrate both of the things you have learned together into one simple code. Alright, so here's this part where we're gonna combine arithmetic user input variables and put it together into an example. So first we're gonna start off by defining a procedure. Now if you guys do not know what procedures exactly are, I'll leave the link of an older video I have posted down in the description, so you guys can go and watch that video. It's a pretty lengthy explanation of what procedures are. So we have defined a procedure which is gonna return us the sum of the variables a and b. And now you might be wondering, where's a, where's b? Okay, so we're gonna define it right now, and we're not gonna define it like we did in the first part where we just put in an integer. This time we're gonna ask the user to input an integer, and we're gonna have to use the int function so that the user can only input an integer, and when they input an alpha character like an alphabet or whatever, it's gonna show an error, because what we need is an integer. So int input in brackets, another bracket where we're gonna put the output that the user wants to see, enter first number. There we go. B equals int input in brackets again, enter second number. So now we're gonna print the output that we want, and now in this print statement we're gonna start off with parentheses, and then we're gonna put f. Now what this f does is it will literally define the value that we're gonna put in the curly brackets ahead. So this is really important. If you miss the f, then your output won't be the same as what it will for me. So sum of, and we're gonna use, I don't know what these brackets are called, but I'll just call them curly brackets. Sum of a, there we go, and b is, we start off with these curly brackets again, sum, and then parentheses, a comma b, and it's already closed. There we go. So now what this will do is it will literally define the value of a as to what the user has input, and this saves a lot of, like some people may use this in a code and they may write sum of first number and second number, but then what this does is it's gonna give a more reasonable and accurate value to the user, and it can be used later. So let's run. Here we're asked to input, so I'm gonna input 4, I'm gonna input 5. There we go. Sum of 4 and 5 is 9. Now let's run this again and let's try another number. So first number let's input as 5, second number 6. There we go, 5 and 6 is 11. Now in the same procedure you can define it as a minus b. So let's see a minus b. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just simply run this again. So let's input 5 here, let's input 3 here. See, now I didn't change the text, but what we did was we changed it to subtraction in the procedure. So now it just changed it to sum of 5 and 3 is 2, which is the subtraction, not the addition. So if you can just play around with that and use it with multiplication and division as well.